Take a deep breath. Feel that. The air around you is likely a perfect, digitally controlled temperature. If you're hungry, a universe of culinary options is a few taps away, set to arrive at your doorstep with minimal human interaction. The world's entire library of film, music, and literature is silently waiting behind a pane of glass in your pocket, curated for you by algorithms that know you better than you know yourself. You are living in a utopia your ancestors, struggling through famine, war, and disease, could not have even conceived of in their wildest dreams. It is a world engineered for the elimination of friction, the silencing of struggle, the maximization of comfort. So, here is the great, terrifying question of our age. If we are living in paradise, why do so many of us feel like we're in a gilded cage? Why is a generation with access to everything haunted by a pervasive sense of nothingness? Why do anxiety and depression ripple through the safest, most comfortable societies in human history? What is this quiet, gnawing emptiness that gnaws at the edges of our perfectly curated lives? We have become masters of optimizing our environment, yet we feel profoundly, existentially lost. It's a paradox that defines our time, but we are not the first to notice it. Over a century ago, a man who lived a life of profound physical and mental suffering, a man who stood on a mountaintop of thought, looked down at the coming century and saw this exact condition emerging. He was a physician of culture, and he diagnosed our illness before we even felt the symptoms. His name was Friedrich Nietzsche, and his message is not a comforting one. It is a terrifying, electrifying, and perhaps life-saving warning. Your comfort is a slow-acting poison, and the life you think you want is the very thing making you weak. Before we can understand Nietzsche's cure, we must dissect the disease. What do we truly mean by modern comfort? It's a multi-layered system, an invisible architecture that shapes our very being. First, there is the physical comfort. This is the most obvious layer. It's the ergonomic chair that prevents back pain, the climate control that shields us from the seasons, the abundance of calorie-dense food that ensures we are never truly hungry. Our bodies, which evolved over millennia to endure hardship, to run, to hunt, to shiver, to starve, are now largely dormant. We treat the body like a machine to be maintained for maximum lifespan, not an instrument to be tested for maximum potential. We seek not strength, but the absence of strain. Next, and far more insidiously, is intellectual comfort. The modern internet is an echo chamber of unparalleled perfection. Algorithms have a vested interest in keeping you engaged, and the easiest way to do that is to feed you information that confirms your existing biases. Your newsfeed, your recommended videos, your social circles. They all become mirrors reflecting your own worldview back at you. We have suppressed the vital need for cognitive dissonance. We can now construct an entire reality where we are never wrong, never challenged, never forced to grapple with a truly foreign or difficult idea. We live in a TLDR culture, too long, didn't read, where complexity is a bug, not a feature. We have traded wisdom for information and information for validation. Then comes emotional comfort. This is perhaps the most addictive form. We live in a world that pathologizes negative emotions, sadness, boredom, anger, envy. These are not seen as necessary parts of the human experience, but as problems to be medicated, distracted from, or therapized away. Boredom, which was once the fertile ground for creativity and deep thought, is now an enemy to be vanquished with an endless scroll. We seek constant, low-grade dopamine hits from likes, notifications, and fleeting digital interactions. This creates a state of perpetual emotional anesthesia. We don't feel the sharp pangs of existence, but we also lose access to the soaring heights of genuine joy, which can only be measured against a baseline of real struggle. Finally, there is social comfort. The ability to unfollow, block, and mute allows us to curate our social interactions to a degree that is historically unprecedented. We can effortlessly excise anyone who disagrees with us, challenges us, or simply makes us uncomfortable. This leads to a dangerous fragility in the face of real-world conflict and disagreement. We lose the art of persuasion, the resilience of debate, and the empathy that comes from truly understanding an opposing view. When you combine these layers, the picture becomes clear. We have built ourselves a fortress against reality, a velvet-lined prison where the bars are made of convenience. We have mistaken the absence of pain for the presence of meaning, and it is into this silent, comfortable prison that Nietzsche's ghost walks, holding a hammer. To understand Nietzsche, you must understand the man. He was no stranger to discomfort. Plagued by debilitating migraines, failing eyesight, and profound loneliness, his life was a constant battle. His philosophy was not born in an ivory tower. It was forged in the fire of his own suffering. He wrote from the mountains of Switzerland, isolated, looking down on a European culture he believed was becoming decadent and sick. His central diagnosis stemmed from an event he famously called the death of God. He didn't mean this as a celebratory cry of atheism. He meant it as a warning. For centuries, God, or a transcendent religious framework, had provided meaning, morality, and a reason for suffering. It gave humanity a grand narrative to be part of. Nietzsche foresaw that with the rise of science and secularism, this framework would crumble, and he asked the terrifying question, what will come next? He feared that without a higher goal, humanity would not ascend into rational super-beings, but would instead sink to the lowest common denominator. We would default to a new, pathetic kind of God, personal comfort. This fear is personified in his most chilling creation, The Last Man, der letzte Mensch. In his masterpiece, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche describes this creature. The last man is the ultimate goal of modern, comfortable society. He is not evil, he is contemptible. His primary values are health, security, and a long, pleasant life. He has no great ambitions because ambition is risky. He has no great loves because love is painful. He has no desire to overcome himself because he sees no reason to. Zarathustra describes them. We have invented happiness, say the last men, and they blink. They have left the regions where it was hard to live, for one needs warmth. One still loves one's neighbor and rubs against him, for one needs warmth. They take a little poison now and then, that makes for pleasant dreams, and much poison at the end for a pleasant death. This poison is anything that numbs them, mindless entertainment, easy pleasures, trivial pursuits. The last man is the icon of a society that has traded greatness for niceness and strength for safety. Does this not sound chillingly familiar? The relentless pursuit of a soft life, the obsession with wellness as the avoidance of all germs and risks, the celebration of the mundane. We are terrified of anything that is too grand, too passionate, too demanding. We have become a culture of last men, blinking in the glow of our screens, rubbing against each other for a little warmth. Nietzsche paired this with his idea of herd morality. He argued that societies develop moral codes to serve the interests of their dominant group. In ancient aristocratic societies, a master morality valued pride, ambition, strength, and power. But as societies became larger and more democratic, a slave or herd morality took over. This morality, born from the weak and oppressed, flips everything on its head. It glorifies pity, kindness, humility, and equality, all things that protect the herd from the strong individual. The modern world, Nietzsche argued, is the ultimate triumph of the herd. We are suspicious of anyone who stands out too much. We value conformity. Social media is the ultimate tool of the herd, enforcing its norms through likes, approval, and cancellation, excommunication. The algorithm is the new shepherd, gently nudging us all into the same safe, comfortable, and mediocre pasture. Nietzsche is not a nihilist who leaves us in despair. He is a doctor who offers a brutal, painful, but ultimately life-affirming cure. If the disease is the slide into the last man, the cure is the striving towards what he called the Übermensch, or the Overman. The Overman is not a racial concept or a political dictator. It is a spiritual goal. The Overman is the human being who has overcome themselves, their petty fears, their desire for comfort, their need for the herd's approval. The Overman is the one who can face the meaningless abyss of existence and create their own meaning. They are a creator of values. How does one begin this journey? Nietzsche provides us with a set of philosophical weapons. First and foremost is the engine of all growth, the will to power, Wille zur Macht. Forget the 20th century's misinterpretations. This is not the will to dominate others. It is the fundamental cosmic drive within everything to expand, to grow, to overcome resistance, and to express its own inherent strength. A seed breaking through concrete is the will to power. An artist wrestling with a blank canvas is the will to power. An entrepreneur building a company from nothing is the will to power. To cultivate your will to power, you must stop running from resistance and start seeking it. You must set goals that are just beyond your grasp. The modern world tells you to find the path of least resistance. Nietzsche commands you to find the path of maximum resistance, for that is where growth lies. The process of applying the will to power is self-overcoming, Selbstüberwindung. This is the practical, daily work. It's about consciously choosing the difficult path. Physically, this is the realm of voluntary hardship. Take the cold shower. Practice intermittent fasting. Engage in strenuous exercise that pushes you to the point of failure. These are not just health hacks. They are acts of rebellion against your primal comfort-seeking instincts. It is you, your conscious mind, asserting command over the lazy animal that just wants to be warm and full. Mentally, declare war on intellectual comfort. Read the book you know you'll disagree with. Study the primary texts of philosophy. Don't just watch a summary video. Yes, I see the irony. Learn a complex skill that has a steep learning curve. Coding, a musical instrument, a new language. Actively seek out the smartest person who holds an opposing view and try to understand their logic. Forge your own intellect in the fire of cognitive friction. Finally, you must adopt the ultimate mindset of the Overman. Amor, Fati, love of fate. This is the most difficult and most beautiful of Nietzsche's ideas. It means to not just accept, but to love everything that happens to you. Not just the triumphs and the pleasures, but the failures, the heartbreaks, the suffering, the loss. It is the understanding that every single moment, good and bad, was a necessary ingredient to forge the person you are today. It is not passive resignation. It is an active, joyful embrace of the totality of your life. It is to look at your deepest wound and say, "Thank you, you made me stronger." It is to be able to say to the universe, at the end of your life, "Was that it?" Well then, once more, the Japanese have an art form called kintsugi, where they repair broken pottery with gold lacquer. The belief is that the object is more beautiful for having been broken. Your life, with all its scars, is your kintsugi. Amor, Fati is the act of painting those cracks with gold. So here we stand, at a crossroads. The path to our left is wide, well paved, and gently slopes downhill. It is the path of the last man. It is lined with infinite entertainment, instant gratification, and the warm, comforting approval of the herd. It promises a long, safe, pleasant life, free from pain and greatness. The path to our right leads steeply uphill into the mountains. It is a rocky, treacherous, and lonely path. It is the path of self-overcoming. It promises struggle, it guarantees pain, but it offers the possibility of strength, of purpose, of becoming the creator of your own life. Nietzsche does not condemn us for feeling the pull of the easy path. He simply exposes the choice. He tears away the curtain and shows us that our modern utopia of comfort has a profound cost, our potential for greatness. The challenge is not to abandon modernity, to go live in a cave. The challenge is to live within this comfortable world without becoming its victim. To use the tools of technology without becoming a tool yourself. To enjoy comforts as a luxury, not as a necessity. To be the master of your algorithm, not its servant. The architects of our digital world, the engineers of our comfort, are making a bet. They are betting that you will always choose the click, the scroll, the easy dopamine hit. They are betting that, when given the choice, you will prove to be the last man. Nietzsche, from his lonely mountain, made a different bet. He bet on the potential hiding within you, the potential for a fire that no amount of comfort can extinguish. The only question left is, who will you prove right? Thank you for joining this exploration on Coded Thoughts. This was a heavy topic, and if you've made it this far, the spirit of self-overcoming is already alive in you. What is one voluntary hardship you will introduce into your life this week? Let's create a community of creators, not consumers. Share your commitment in the comments below. If this resonated, please like and subscribe. It tells the algorithm that deep thought is still valued. Stay curious and remember to forge your own meaning.